Welcome back to Prime Morning. My name is Isiodua Akumia. It's time for Let's Talk Business. You know, every single Monday, we bring you conversations, we bring you closer to women that are inspiring, to women that are doing amazingly well when it comes to the world of business. Now, there's a very popular saying that goes that when life gives you lemon, make lemonades. And the CEO for Edible Treats has made incredible, she literally took advantage of, the 2020 when COVID broke out. She took advantage of that to start a business, and it's been doing amazing for her. And so seated with me is the owner of Edible Treats, Yvonne Norie. Good morning, Yvonne.
Good morning.
How are you?
Thanks, I'm doing well.
So when some of us were doing Netflix and chilling, you saw the COVID as an opportunity to start a business.
Yes.
What exactly made you say that, okay, no, maybe I'm just home, I'm not doing anything, or maybe, but before that, what exactly were you doing before that?
Before then, I was working in an NGO as a project officer.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay. So at what point did you feel that this is the right opportunity for me to take advantage of this?
During the lockdown, when we're all told to stay at home, I started playing around with recipes. I had already enrolled in a number of cake training institutions, so I knew how to bake. I noticed that during the lockdown, a lot of us were just putting on weight, and the foods we were cooking were just monotonous. They were so boring.
Yeah.
So I started playing around with it and trying to see how best we can be innovative. In as much as we're told to cut down the number of people for social events, people were still getting married. So this shows that a lot of people would still patronize cakes even if there is a situation. So I had to find innovative ways of making healthy cakes so that, yes, you are enjoying your snack, you are Netflixing and chilling, but you are not putting on extra weight, or you are not...
I was going to say you are part of the people that made some of us gain weight in 2020 during the lockdown.
Probably, because a lot of people were just eating, a lot of people were snacking. I remember a lot of people were complaining that their foodstuffs were getting finished, so they want snacks. So now people were going for chips, they were going for cookies, but they didn't think that it was going to make them put on weight. When the ban was lifted, people couldn't fit into their clothes anymore. So that is how come I started, and I made up my mind that, okay, since the ban is over, and I was even bored at my work, honestly. So I had to just resign and start this full time.
Why? Did you feel like if you had continued working with the NGO, you wouldn't have had enough time?
There were lots of uncertainties around that time. You know, it was COVID. And NGOs thrive on donor funding. So with the influx of COVID, there were lots of uncertainties. Funds were dwindling. You don't even know if you were going to last in the next couple of years, or if your funds were going to be withheld. A lot of people were being laid off. There were a lot of uncertainties around that time. So I thought it wise that, why don't I start something for myself that is more sustainable than work for someone else? And one day you wake up and the person says, I'm sorry, I can't pay you anymore.
Right. Then you just be there without any monies. Anyway, so when you started in 2020, now in that particular year, social media was really busy because almost everybody was at home. We had nothing really doing and all that. So I want to know the role that it played majorly when you started the business. How was it?
When I started, I made use of social media. I used to post recipes online for a lot of people, and I used to get feedback that, thank you so much. This recipe you shared has helped me.
So you were sharing recipes online as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So people call me, people even send me DMs, send me messages. Those who know me personally will send me a text on my phone and tell me that, thank you, the recipes you shared have added a bit of variety to my home meals. So thank you very much. And I used to get that a lot. So after the ban on COVID, we had to go back to work. There was no time to experiment and do all these things again. And I used to get people, oh, even when I posted a new recipe, people would send you a message, please, I need a recipe on this. So I realized it was something I could really do. So right after the ban was lifted, I just decided to call it quits.
So you didn't start right off by selling?
Yes.
You started by posting recipes on your social media, and you kept on getting a lot of responses. So you decided to take advantage of the responses that you were getting because they were positive.
Yes.
Wow. So after the ban was raised, I mean, how was it? Was it easy for you to really put yourself out there and then get people purchasing your products?
Well, I'll say yes and no. Yes, because people had seen me post recipes, so people knew that I was credible.
Yeah.
But no, because business is not as we see it to be. There are certain hurdles you need to cross. And sometimes we always read business in the books, but once you don't practice it or you don't get to experience it, you might think it's so easy.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I baked, it was in June. I baked a number of cupcakes based on orders. I gave it a delivery. Some of the dispatch ate the cupcakes. Some too, the cupcakes got to the clients and they were messed up. My day was ruined that day.
Ah, but why? Why would the dispatch rider eat the cupcakes?
I can't tell. And the client received it and sent me videos. My heart was broken. I asked myself that, was it even a viable thing to do just to leave the corporate sector and decide to go into entrepreneurship?
You're beginning to rethink your decision.
Exactly. Because before then, a lot of people were asking me, Yvonne, why don't you wait till December? Let's just COVID that settle. I remember a friend called me and said, Yvonne, you the craze. Because he didn't understand why you want to leave something which is more sustainable. Corporate sector, whether you go to work or not, you know that at the end of the month, you'll be paid. But with entrepreneurship, there are a lot of uncertainties. You don't even know where your next paycheck is going to come from. You don't even know how business is going to be in the next month. So after that first incident, I just called a friend and told her, I don't think entrepreneurship is meant for me. I'm not doing it. I explained my hurdles to her and she said, Yvonne, whether you like it or not, next week you are taking orders and I'm going to ensure you do that. And
how long had you been in it after you started? How long had it been?
Right after I started. That was the first order I had.
Oh, so I would say like within a month?
It was the first month, the first day.
Oh, and you were already giving up?
And I was giving... Actually, I thought that when I say, oh, I'm taking orders for the week, the others are going to keep pouring in like rain.
Because you thought everybody is just at home, so it'd be easy for people to...
I feel like, oh, cupcakes, come on, they're handy.
Wow.
So I thought the others were going to pour in like rain. I didn't know that you have to put in a lot of work.
Right.
And after that incident, my heart got broken. I spoke to my friend. Oh. She's already been in business for some time.
Okay.
And she spoke to me, she spoke sense to me and told me that you're going to do this, whether you like it or not. And she told me, I'm going to let my dispatch come to you. He's not going to work for me for that day. And he's going to do all your deliveries for you. And that's how I got back.
So you had people that are placed orders?
Yes. So basically, edible treats is based on order basis. Okay. So you make an order, you give us your specifications, because a lot of people have certain underlying health conditions. Some might not take milk, some might not take sugar. So you can't do a one-size-fits-all cake for everyone. You'd have to know their peculiarities and make sure you do it accordingly. So that's what I did.
When you were beginning and you were posting recipes online, were you aiming to at some point start generating revenue from the videos you were posting?
I was just posting it because I was also bored. I was also bored at home. I'm not really a fan of television. So I decided to do something, just share it online. And I really felt fulfilled when I see people send me feedback, the comments, oh, I tried it, it's worked. And I knew I was doing something right.
How many orders? Your very first, okay, when was your first big break?
My first big break. My first time I made a call for orders, it was on the 1st of June 2020, and I had 6 people ordering for cupcakes, box of cupcakes.
So, a box like what we have here on the table.
And that's when the dispatch decided to eat some, and some got messed up. But since then, I can't really recall my first big break because it's been consistency. One thing I've noticed with social media, you have to be consistent with what you do. If not, people are going to think you are not serious. Sometimes even me, if I want to patronize someone and I go to the person's social media page and I don't see the person's recent post or the person's last post like a month or two ago, I'll be like,
yeah, it puts you off.
I'll be like, this person is not serious, or maybe this person is on a break. So you have to be consistent, and that's something I have strived to do. I strive to be consistent every day. So I can't really pinpoint when my breakthrough came, but I'll say that God has been faithful.
Faithful. Yeah. So the first month that you got 6 different orders for cupcakes.
Yes.
How much was it that you put into preparing everything? That unfortunately a rider ate some of the cupcakes, because obviously you did make a loss there.
Yeah, I made a loss. And funny enough, all those cupcakes were discounted because I wanted to be.
So how much did you put into it?
I'll say like 600.
600 CDs.
Yes, I wanted to enter the market. It was like my market penetrative strategy. So I discounted all the cupcakes. Not me doing free delivery. So I paid for all the deliveries that day, but still.
You paid for free delivery?
Free delivery.
Aside that, to the
cupcakes
main
were heavily discounted.
Heavily?
Yes, I was now penetrating into the market. So it was a strategy to help me woo clients. When you taste it and you love it, definitely you come back. But it didn't go well.
So that was what made you want to...
Yeah, it made me have a rethink.
Yeah.
I kept asking myself, is entrepreneurship really cut out for me? Maybe I think I have to go and look for my certificate and start looking for a job.
So was it something that you always wanted to do, going into entrepreneurship?
No. I never envisaged myself being an entrepreneur.
You saw yourself working the
Yes, I always saw myself as a technocrat. I always saw myself going about running development initiatives. That's what I really wanted to do. That's what I was passionate about. And I studied for that. I made sure that whatever courses I pursued was geared towards development studies. But some way, somehow, life happened.
Yeah. How easy was it for you to identify an opportunity in the midst of, you know, everything that was just happening, the whole pandemic, the whole lockdown? Because somebody out there would be finding it difficult identifying that, okay, this is a misfortune happening in my life. Maybe I could get something, I could do something out of this misfortune. How can you, like, what will you tell a young person out there that this is how you can identify an opportunity out of a mishappening?
Well, sometimes I never envisaged myself making cakes. I'll say it's born out of passion, because I was passionate. I just love to make cakes.
Yeah.
I used to make cakes and gift out to people. But when this pandemic happened, I saw that everybody was making cake. The cake industry is big in Ghana. Yeah. What is that thing you would do to stand out, to carve a niche for yourself, to make people know you for who you are? There are a lot of media houses, but what you are doing is uniquely different from other media houses, right? And that's what makes you who you are. So you have to identify what makes you you. Yes, you have to identify your passion, and find out if there are a lot of people in that space, and what capabilities or what innate qualities do you have that can make you stand out from the rest. A lot of people are making cakes, but not everybody is doing diabetic cake. Not everybody is doing cholesterol-free cake. So there we have it. So that's what makes you stand out then. Yes. You make cakes for diabetics, for people with high cholesterol levels. I make cakes for people who do not take dairy products, and cakes for people who are strictly vegans. We have people who are strictly vegan. They don't take anything that is not vegan. Yes. And I do cakes for people who have peculiar allergies. There are some people, they don't take sweetness, they don't take sugar, they don't take milk, they don't take this, they don't take that. So you have to find... So it is because of this that it is strictly by orders. Yes. You have to pre-order before you make them. Yes. So you can't necessarily have a store or a place. We do regular cakes as well, where we have ready to go cakes for just anyone who loves to eat cake. But our flagship products are what I mentioned: sugar-free cakes, vegan cakes, diabetic cakes, and cholesterol-free cakes. How has it been so far with these peculiar cakes that you make? It's not been an easy journey, because a lot of people have the perception that cakes are made with sugar, flour. No matter how you try to present it to them, so and there's no sugar, they still don't believe. Yes, you need to do a lot of education. Sometimes you have to be on phone with a client for close to 30 minutes to 1 hour. Try to let the clients know that you know your onions. You are not just doing it because you are doing it. There was a time I had a client whose whole family have serious allergies.
Okay.
So she called me and when we're discussing, she was like, Yvonne, you know your stuff. I've called a lot of bakeries and I have to tell them what to do, what to put in my cake and what not to put in my cake. But when I called you, you were able to resonate with me. You were able to tell me the kind of foods and what, and it's so amazing because not everybody knows what you do. And for me, that is really important because you can't compromise on a client's health. Allergies are really serious. I don't want a client eating my cake and calling me the next day that my whole family has been hospitalized because we don't take milk and you kept milk in the cake. So I normally try to have a conversation with the client.
What are you allergic to? Okay, I know that.
Yes.
Before you do the cake.
But aside that, we do regular cakes, we do wedding cakes, we offer trainings to for people who want to learn cakes. So it's not that we are just strictly maybe a healthy based cakes yet, but we have exemptions. For someone like you who might be celebrating your birthday, you will need a cake. And someone might walk in and just purchase a cake. Okay, so mentioning these peculiar cakes that you make. So let's start off with the diabetic cake. What makes it a diabetic cake? Just because there's no sugar? If there's no sugar in it, what do you replace it with? So we use natural sweeteners. So natural sweeteners, we have date syrup, we have honey, and we also have monk fruit. Sorry? Monk fruit. Monk fruit. Yes. Oh, okay. So these are the natural sweeteners. We try to use natural sweeteners to make our cakes because, as I mentioned earlier, there are some people who react to artificial sweeteners like saccharin. So we don't use artificial sweeteners at all. Okay. And then you mentioned cholesterol. Yes. As well. So what goes into that particular cake? For cholesterol-free cakes, we don't use butter because butter would increase the cholesterol level. We don't use margarine. So we use either olive oil or we use coconut oil. Then it must be expensive because coconut oil is expensive. Yes, healthy cakes are pricey. So once you call to make an inquiry, that's the first thing I tell you. The cake you're ordering for is pricey. It's pricey, yeah. You let them know that it's pricey. Yes, I let you know. But they themselves are aware because they know we don't use just the regular products on the market. Somebody will tell you that I'm lactose intolerant. So it means the person cannot take dairy milk. You'd have to go for either almond milk, coconut milk, or soy milk. And these milks are expensive. They are expensive. Yes. They are expensive. Okay, so when you started, you mentioned that your first, orders, which were the 6 orders that you got, you started with about 600 CDs, although you make losses. Yes. Now, with how much that you were purchasing the products that you used for, comparing to now, how much do you get your stuff for now? Let's say the basic material, flour. Flour. In 2020, I used to buy a 2020 was how much? I used to buy a sack of 50 kg flour for 180 cedis, but as of now, a sack of 50 kg flour is hitting almost 800 cedis. Almost 800 cedis? Yes. Wow. And I'm sure with the festive season approaching, there'll be a hike in prices. So how has that really affected your pricing? It has affected pricing drastically. Because the prices I used to sell cakes for in 2020, I can't sell the same thing. For that, you get maybe 4 pieces of cupcakes. Doesn't it scare you that maybe you could lose customers? Because everybody is being affected by what is happening in the country currently. So don't you think that you could lose customers? No. You're not losing customers? No, I don't think I can lose customers because one way or the other, there's something to celebrate every day. There's something to celebrate every weekend. People are prices are on the high, but people are getting married. I was saying this this early morning. I was telling someone. People are getting married. People are celebrating birthdays. People are celebrating anniversaries. Organizing funerals. Exactly. And all that. There are lots of things. Ghanaians, we love social events. So no matter how the economy skyrockets we'll still find a way to infuse our enjoyment into the economy. Regardless. So patronage will dwindle, but still you make sales. So a box of cupcakes like this, like what we have here on the table. Yes.
So how much was something like this last year?
Something like this last year was 90 cedis.
90 cedis.
Yes.
And currently?
Currently it's 180.
That's double.
Yes.
Oh, wow. 180.
Yes, 180 for this.
Wow. And you're not even done with, you know,
no,
with it.
Some will tell you, oh, for the frosting, can you put Kit Kat? Can you put M&Ms? Can you put Ferrero Rocher? I love strawberries.
Okay.
So when they give you all these peculiar orders, then you tell them that, madam, you know what? All these things you're asking for is going to come at an extra cost.
Right.
So let me do the price and get back to you. Get back to them and you're like, okay, use what you have.
They hear the price and it scares them.
I tell them that a price of fresh strawberries from the mall used to go for 80 cedis, but now the price has gone up. Please, do you still want the strawberries? So that keeps them thinking like, oh no, it's fine. Use whatever
you have, just use it. Yeah. I see. So the box of cupcake that we have here, I see different colors. I think I see red velvet.
Yes.
Okay. Chocolate.
Yes.
Okay, so can the camera just come closer to what we have here? Let me try to lift it so it makes it easy. Okay, and then what other flavor?
Coconut.
Oh, coconut. Where is it at?
So those ones with the dots.
Oh, okay.
And we have vanilla.
Okay, so red velvet, chocolate, coconut, and vanilla.
Yeah.
Okay, they look very delicious though. And so I can see the piping bag over here with the frosting in it. Yeah. And so I want you to kindly finish up with the...
Okay.
What do you call it? What is it called?
Frosting.
No, the process of you...
Piping.
Piping, okay. So I mentioned the bag and
when you mentioned, I was about to ask you bake.
Do I bake? Oh, I watch a lot of baking videos, so...
Okay.
Right. I watch a lot of bakes. So Yvonne is about to pipe the cupcakes that we have here. She's about to apply the frosting on them.
So this is American buttercream frosting.
American buttercream frosting.
Yes.
What makes it American buttercream?
That's the name of the recipe, what we call as buttercream in Ghana.
Okay, so you made all this yourself?
Yes, I make all this myself.
Oh, wow. I see. So, Rosalind is already telling us she's going to eat some, so please just make sure that we save some for her.
Okay, sure. Can they see?
Oh, okay. Hey, I see. Hey. Oh. So how did you learn all this? Or naturally you're a designer?
No, when you go to cake schools, they teach you from the basics.
Okay. So you learned it from cake school?
Yes. I attended 5 different cake schools.
5 different?
Yes.
Why 5?
So I started learning how to bake when I was in school. So I used to save money. And when school is on vacation, I'll go and learn how to bake.
Oh, okay. I see.
That's how I started. So I was baking for family because I wanted to perfect my skills.
I see. But it's not something that at that time you wanted to do professionally.
No, I just knew I loved to bake. And I remember when I used to tell my friends when we were in school that, maybe I'll bake who. They were like, you're not serious. How can an MPhil graduate be baking? It doesn't make sense. But today, I receive messages from them and they tell me, Yvonne, you said it and we are so proud of you.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm interested in knowing, how do you generate your income? As in, like, the monies that come to you, do you gain monthly, daily, weekly? How is it like for you?
Okay, so for me, almost every week or every other day, I get an order. Almost every other day. So I take stock of my income and my expenses. So I know how much revenue Edible Treats makes in a month. After making sure that all the overheads are taken care of, such as lights, internet, everything. I make sure I pay myself, which is very important. And the rest you plow back into the business.
Right. Okay. Okay. So with your bookkeeping, how do you do it?
So I use Excel.
Excel.
Yes, I use Excel to do my bookkeeping. Just the regular Excel to do the addition and subtraction, basic bookkeeping. Okay. So when you're done, it's easier to give it to an accountant to go through and modify it for you.
Also, you have an accountant?
Yes. So you give it to an accountant or you outsource. For edible treats, I don't have an accountant, so I outsource. Okay. There are freelance accountants you can give to. Right. And there are also certain accounting apps you can use. So if you are using the accounting apps, it makes it easier for you because at the end of the month, you get all your accounts. But when you are doing it like mine, where you have to manually input everything into Excel, at the end of the month, I just give it to a third party. So what I do is I do everything. At the end of the year, the financial year, I give my books to the accountant and he goes through it for me. That's what I do.
So how was 2021 for you then?
2021, edible treats. Should I mention the figure?
Oh yes, yes. I want you to mention the figure.
Edible treats made a revenue of about 70,000. Ooh. Yes, that was just through mobile money. Yes, but there were some people who paid via cash. Okay, and for the cash, sometimes it's difficult to really take stock because as the cash is coming in, you don't remember, oh, your light is almost finished. You have to go buy prepaid.
Yvonne.
Okay, so with 2021, to be honest, I was not really strict on my bookkeeping. Okay. 2020, I was learning the ropes. I started mid-year. I was learning the ropes and I made losses. Because with cakes, you have to do a lot of purchases. You use a lot of electricity, water. So, and I was not started. So I made a lot of losses. With 2021, to be honest, you can't even have cash in the bar. If you realize your Wi-Fi is about to expire, let me just go pay for it. And you forget to document it. But with 2022, I have been serious.
You've been serious?
Very serious.
So how has it been so far?
It's been okay till the price hikes.
Okay. There we have it. Anyways, okay, so, but let's talk about workers. Okay. Do you do this all by yourself or you have people working for you?
So I don't do all this by myself.
Okay.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, Edible Treats trains people. So Edible Treats has trained at least 10 young girls pro bono.
Okay.
Nice. Yes, pro bono. We seek to ensure that women are empowered to be able to make economic decisions. And for me, as someone who comes from a background of development studies, that is my focus. Whatever I do should be related to the SDG goals. That is to ensure that we reduce poverty and people have decent work. So if somebody has a passion to learn cakes and genuinely can't afford, we bring the person in and we train the person.
So you train them and then you employ them to work for you, or
depends
you
on the
start them up?
Depends on the person's preference. Our last person, we trained her and she decided to go set up her own. So we decided to give her basic tools that she would need for free. Wow. Because after training her, she was with us, so she's been of used to us. She's been beneficial to Edible Tree. So we felt it's right that we give her something to help her start up. Yes.
So you don't just leave your girls to go just like that. You sort of set them up if they want to.
If they want to. So if you are done training and you still want to be with Edible Treats, we welcome you.
So currently, how many workers do you have working with you on Edible Treats?
Currently, we have 6.
6.
Yes. Some are part-time, not full-time. So we have meals too as part of Edible Treats. So most of them come in when there's overwhelmed others. When we are overwhelmed, they come in to help. But for just a few others, it's just me and some of my students who do that. Yes. So they are done, but they are still with Edible Treats.
Okay. So you pay them weekly? You pay them monthly,
So,
daily?
We don't pay, I'll not say pay, more like an allowance.
Okay.
Yes, more like an allowance. So we don't really, because when you have to pay, it means you have to incorporate your SNETs and taxes and everything.
Yeah.
So an edible treat.
You don't want to put that on your head?
No, we pay. For edible treats, we pay SNETs.
Okay.
Yes, we pay SNETs.
Yes.
We do what we have to do.
Yeah.
But we don't make enough to be able to say we are going to put you on a full-time salary. So we give you an allowance because, as I said, there are sometimes during the month that sales dwindle. So if it happens, it's going to affect edible treats because we also have overheads to cover. Yes.
What are some of the things that you teach the girls that you train? I mean, aside just, you know, learning how to bake and then all that, some of the skills you let them be aware of to be an entrepreneur. What are some of the things?
We teach them how to position themselves strategically on social media.
On social media.
Yes, because that is what has helped edible treats. So we teach them how to list your business on Google, how to have a social media account, how to talk to clients. These are some of the basic things we teach them. Pricing, because sometimes as you're starting a business, the mistakes I made, I'll not want someone to replicate those same mistakes. As you're starting a business, because you are so desperate to make money, you lower all your costs so that people will buy from you. Yes, they will buy. You get a lot of clients coming in, but at the end of the day, you realize that you are running at a loss.
At a loss, yeah.
So I teach them all these things and how to turn down clients nicely. The client says that, oh, please, I want a cake for 100 cedis in this Ghana.
Not possible.
Yes, I mean, it's if someone calls and tells
maybe cupcakes fine.
Cupcakes fine, but someone says I want a birthday cake for 100 cedis. You don't tell the person that and they only Ghana. It's so wrong.
Yeah,
there should be a nice way of telling the person, oh, I'm sorry, due to the price hikes, our cakes are no longer 100 cedis.
Yeah,
but we can get you a box of cupcakes. Do you mind? That one is more polite than saying the person that's at the Uni Ghana. It's so uncouth. So we teach them how to speak to clients this way too as well.
Okay, so aside the fact that the price of the products, the main products that you use for the baking, being affected by, you know, the price hikes, you know, currently and all that, what are some of the things that have really hit edible treats? Okay,
so some of the things that has really hit edible treats, I would say, has to do with utilities and staffing.
Utilities?
Yes, because we solely depend on electricity and water. When there's a hike in electricity price, it affects us. So our monthly consumption would have to go up.
Right.
Yeah, because we have machines running every day. Our fridges are always on. Our cake mixers almost every other day are on full blast. Yes. So these have affected that. And human resource, you get someone today, after a week, the person says, the work is stressful, I can't.
Oh, what makes it stressful?
Because it's based on orders and you have to be baking, going to the oven. And sometimes the orders come so late. Someone can call you at 10 p.m. and tell you, I want a cake
tomorrow
by
morning,
8 a.m.
Yeah.
And I want it in the office by 8 a.m.
Right.
So it means you have to deprive yourself of sleep. And work on it. And everybody can attest that we can't decorate hot cakes. So once you bake, you have to let the cake cool down before you can even decorate it. So these are some of the issues that we encounter. And also because we run a physical space, we have a physical space, sometimes you need to pay all your taxes, everything your business operates in. When there's a bit of delay, before you realize the district assemblies at your shop.
Right.
So normally the first month of the year is dedicated to fulfilling all our obligations. We pay for our space, we pay for business operating permits, everything we have to do.
Now let's look at, you know, the baking industry in Ghana on the whole. The current state of the economy. What are some of the things that is really affecting the baking industry? What would you wish that could be changed?
Okay, for the baking sector in Ghana, it's heavily dependent on imports. Almost everything we use in making our cakes is imported, from our flour to our butter to our sugar. everything is imported. So when there's a hike in the dollar price, it affects everything we use. And I know some colleagues of mine who have to close down their bakeries and do other things as well because they can't compete with the price hike. The price hikes are so uncertain that almost every day you have to keep readjusting your prices. Yeah. And it becomes worrisome. If a client makes an inquiry on Monday and wants to make payment on Wednesday, you tell the person that the price has gone up. Sometimes it's a huge deterrent to make the purchase. So I would wish that some of the things we use could be homegrown, like sugar. Okay. Sugar, margarine. We have a lot of palm plantations. Why do we have to import sugar and margarine from Turkey and from other countries? Flour. I even thought flour was produced in Ghana till these Russian, Ukraine, and I realized that it was also imported. These are certain basic things that I think that we can grow locally to help us. And we should also improvise. There are not a lot of people who are improvising. Some people are not using the wheat flour again. They're using cassava flour. Yeah, because it's a cheaper alternative. It's cheaper. Have you tried it? I haven't tried it, but I have a lot of people who have told me, even use cassava flour. It's cheaper. I know people who are using it. Try it. Maybe it would equally taste as good. I know people. I have tried. I've tasted this, but not like tried it in baking. For the first day, the cakes are good. Even in bread, people are now using cassava flour. For the first day, the cakes are good, but the second day, it's crumbly. So when you tasted it, how was it? For the first, because it was fresh, it was so nice. But the next day, how was the texture? How was it? It's crumbly. Oh, okay. It's so you can't use it professionally then, because you just disappoint your clients. Yes, unless maybe you are just baking to eat that day. It makes sense, yes. But if there's a way we could, CSIR, FDA, GSA, if there's a way they could help, maybe use locally produced foodstuffs, food crops like cassava, yam, so that we could get the same texture like wheat. It makes, we don't have to import again. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Yvonne. I can't wait to taste the cake. I know there are a whole lot of others who also want to taste the cake, the cupcakes. Rosalind is itching to grab one. Okay, so thank you so much once again. But then before you go, I want you to give young girls out there a word of advice when it comes to entrepreneurship or owning a business. And then you can put your social media handles out there as well. Okay, so for anybody, any young girl who wants to start a business, I want to tell you that sometimes it's a lonely road. It's not as easy as we read in the books, and Africa's case is different from what's happening in the European world. You should have someone you look up to, someone you speak to. You should always have your families to support you, because if your family is not supporting you, it makes it more lonelier. When you encounter hurdles, when you encounter challenges, there's no one to speak to. Sometimes you exhaust all your finances and the only people available will be family. And don't try to think that once you start a business today, you have to reap back all your profits and everything in the next month. Businesses are not like that. It takes time and it takes a lot of consistency. Let people trust you. Let people know what you are bringing, and don't try to cut corners, because in the end, you'll be found out. All right. Thank you once again. Your social media handles? So on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, it's Edible Treats International. We are located in Adenta, Fafaha, and our number is 0249 967700. Thank you. Okay, Yvonne. So I have been speaking with Yvonne Noriye, who is the owner of Edible Treats. Thanks so much for passing through and sharing your, ideas when it comes to establishing yourself in the world of business and taking advantage of, an opportunity, even in the midst of mishappenings. And so we have been speaking on the topic of turning misfortunes into opportunities. But then before we go, one message here for you, Yvonne, and this is from Karen Hapuch, and she says, yummy morning to you all. I love cakes a lot, especially because they are very attractive and delicious too. I'd love to try some of hers one day. Okay, so she put her social media handles out there, so you can contact her and then you can make a purchase and taste. Yeah, I know that they will be very good. Anyways, do stay tuned for so much more right here on Prime Morning. My name is Esiodua Akumia. We'll be right back.